up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, if I were to tell you, if you didn't know what happened last night, if I were to tell you that the Lakers scored 137 points, you would have thought they won by at least 20 points or something, right? You would have thought that. But nope, the Lakers lost in triple overtime. Not to the Knicks, not to the Bucks, not to the Clippers, not to the Jazz, not to the Warriors, not to the Suns, not even to the Heat, not even to the Wizards, but to the reeling Sacramento Kings. 141 to 137. They gave up 141 points defensively to the Kings. The same team that just fired their head coach, Luke Walton, after a disastrous stretch where they lost something like 8 out of their last 9 games. Now, for much of this season, a lot of the blame has been attributed to Russell Westbrook, who is still not a good fit for this team. He's not a good fit for this team, considering what his role should really be on this team. But as I have said, and a couple other people said, the last couple of years, Russell Westbrook has taken a little bit of time to start getting going. He has been playing better as of late. This was his best game as a Laker. 29 points, uh, maybe something like 11 rebounds, 10 assists, 11 assists. I don't know. I think 10 rebounds, 11 assists, or something like that. So he did have a triple double. But that's not important. What's more important is that he was efficient. 11 of, I think he was 10 of 18 from the floor. Hit 2 out of 4 from 3. That's okay. You don't really want him shooting a lot of threes, but if he's going to make a couple, that's good. And he was 7 of 9 from the line. And for Russell Westbrook, who averages 4.1 turnovers per game for his career, which is number one all time, the only player to average over 4 turnovers per game in his career. Number 2 is Magic Johnson with 3.9 turnovers per game. So he had 3 turnovers versus 11 assists. You can deal with that. That's a good turnover assist ratio. It was actually LeBron James who had more of a Russell Westbrook game. 10 of 25 from the floor, 2 of 13 from three-point range, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, but 7 turnovers. But you won't hear people talking about LeBron's turnovers because people aren't fixed in to be programmed to look at his turnovers. AD, his stats look okay. His stats look decent. It was a triple overtime game, but you would think a triple overtime game with a guy like AD, he should have had a monstrous 35 points and 18 rebounds. No, I think it was a rather pedestrian. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was like 28 and 8 rebounds or something like that. I mean, look, shout out to Legendary because she made a good point about this with AD. AD likes to pad his numbers against bad teams, right? He pads his numbers against bad teams. And then against the upper echelon teams, when he's going up against one of these better uh, post players, he underproduces. So his numbers for the season look all right, but these are some of the facts. Outside of Carmelo Anthony, the starting lineup for this Lakers squad is horrific from 3-point range. Westbrook is something around 31%, right? 31% from 3, which for him is actually kind of decent. He still shouldn't shoot many. He shouldn't shoot more than 3 or 4 in a game. LeBron James, for all of this hoopla about how he's improved his outside shot, right, is now shooting 33% from 3 for the season. 33% from 3. He's shooting them like he's Steph Curry, and he's fucking not. The only thing LeBron James is interested in my opinion, and I'm starting to grow increasingly confident in saying this, is going after a scoring record. I think he wants to put on the. I'm not saying he don't want to win, but usually LeBron would be a little bit more the GM at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I think he wants to win, but something's a little off. It's like he's resigned to being on a mediocre team now. And maybe I'm being a little premature in saying this, but if his rhetoric, he's not going to openly blame a player, but if his rhetoric doesn't become a little bit more caustic in the next 10 games or so, I'm going to start saying I think LeBron is just putting up smoke screens about wanting to win in LA. I think he's just fixated on individual numbers. Anthony Davis. This is a point I want to make about him. 0 for 5 from 3-point range last night. So he and LeBron combined to go 2 of 18 from 3-point range. For the season, Anthony Davis is shooting 16.7% from 3. But people focus on Westbrook so much. And don't get me wrong, he is part of the problem. But Anthony Davis really needs to be analyzed more. He's more of the problem to me than anybody. 16.7% from 3. And another startling statistic. Anthony Davis is the most inefficient jump shooter right now in the NBA. Not Russell Westbrook. It's not. It's Anthony Davis. He's only making 33% of his jump shots this season. 33%. The only thing that's keeping his field goal percentage looking decent is his scores in the paint. 33% for a guy that supposedly is so fucking skilled. Oh my God, he can make all these array of jumpers and threes. Well, why the fuck is Giannis making them more than him? Someone explain this shit to me. Someone explain this shit to me. This team is too talented individually to be 10 and 11. And you got Anthony Davis delusionally talking about, oh man, I mean, yeah, we're 10-11, but all we gotta do is go on a 10-game winning streak and we'll shut the haters up. Motherfucker, y'all had the easiest schedule in the fucking league. And you're 10 and fucking 11. If you can't beat the Kings, what the fuck makes you think you're gonna beat the Clippers and the Suns and the fucking Jazz and the Warriors? Oh my goodness. I don't think they played the Warriors yet. Oh Lord, it's gonna be a fucking bomb runner, this motherfucker. It's about to get ugly, ugly, ugly. It's about to get fucking ugly. I don't think they played the Warriors yet. They're about to start playing some teams, man. And he's talking about a 10-game win streak. Have they won 3 games in a row yet this season? At this point, they need to just focus on each game, and try to get a win. I think if the Lakers lose their next game and drop to 10 and 12, Frank Vogel will be fired. He will be fired. Um, Something's got to give. Um, this team, people keep waiting for this team to turn like some magical corner. They are what they are. They are what they are. And it's a damn shame. But I've said this before. I said this before the season started. I don't think this is a great team. I just never was sold on that. The pieces don't work. They're individuals that a lot of these guys are out here just getting numbers. They don't play as a team. And when you match that with inefficiency and a total lack of commitment on defense, look, they show it at times that they can be a good defensive team, but they don't sustain it. And I can only attribute that to age and laziness. That's the only thing I can attribute it to. But you know what? That's also what happens when you get talked about every fucking day on television. Thinking your shit don't stink. Motherfuckers on television talking about these dudes every fucking single day when they don't deserve to be mentioned at all. Maybe that'll get a kick of fire in these motherfuckers, right? Every fucking day, you got somebody on TV asking, well, is this when they're going to turn the corner? And what's the problem with the Lakers? And being their fucking psychologist, being their fucking, you know, uh, being their psychoanalyst. And at the end of the day, maybe they need to start talking more about the Jazz or the Suns, who are playing better than they did last year right now. Maybe more attention be paid put upon those teams and not these sorry sacks of shit. You know, spoiled was what I'm basically saying. You know how sometimes there's that what's that saying? Spoil a child, spare the rod. Maybe they need to stop talking about these motherfuckers. And maybe that'll motivate them to play better. You don't deserve our attention. Who would have thought this team would be 10 and 11 after 21 games with that easy ass schedule, with that soft ass schedule they had? you know, and I just, you look at, I hate to say this, like, they got pieces that are younger, man, but they got a lot of older pieces too, man. Uh, I haven't watched all of these games, but Dwight Howard is really starting to look older. He's not having the season he had a couple of years ago. DeAndre Jordan is done. He's done. A lot of guys on the Lakers roster, THT, inconsistent. Um, you just you see what's going on in Washington, man. You see how these guys are just playing a lot better generally without the pressure of playing in LA. Um, I don't know, man. I just think it's I've just come to the conclusion that this team is what they are, man. They're going to be a 500 team, probably a 7 for 8 seed. And if that's the case, they're doomed because they're not going to beat the Warriors and they're not going to beat Utah or the Phoenix Suns, depending on how the thing's going to set up. But they're doomed. They're doomed. Their best bet to get out of the first round is to finish between the fourth and the I'd say the fourth and fifth seed, maybe, because if they finish seventh and eighth, they're either going to face the Suns or they're going to face the Warriors. They're definitely not going to beat the Warriors. The Warriors are going to beat the fuck out of this team. The Suns are going to beat them. Utah probably will beat them rather easily, in my opinion. So it's doomed. It's this doomed. I'm telling you right now, this team ain't going no fucking where. LeBron James is not going to win, and it's not fucking hating. I'm telling you what I think. I'm not going to come on here and say bullshit to appease the people. I think the days of LeBron James winning championships have come to an end. So at this point, the only thing people who like LeBron can root for is individual statistics. individual milestones. So if you want to root for that, that's fine. That's not bad. But the days of winning titles, that shit is over. Unless he joins a team and is willing to be a lesser component, or they're going to stack the deck in a manner where it's just ridiculous, it's over. But that's all I got to say. Tell me what you guys think.